Alright, so Nintendo just released Mario Golf Super Rush, and a lot of us were very excited to get our hands on this game. I was definitely excited to play this game, and I do enjoy it. I like the game, but it's missing a lot. And this has been a trend that we've seen coming from Nintendo for a while now, which didn't seem like it was going to be all that big of a deal until now. But there's a lot of other stuff that I want to talk about with this game. Particularly, a lot of things wrong with this game that people aren't really talking about. This game definitely has a lot more problems than just the amount of content. What's up, guys? Welcome back, and welcome in for the first time. We're gonna make this quick. There's links down below. Pick one. Discord, the second channel, lots of cool stuff over there. Instagram, Twitter, whatever you want to do. Pick one, pick two. We'll see you there after this video. So like I said, we got Mario Golf. I played it on Friday, the day it came out. I played it a little Thursday night. I guess it was early Friday morning, after midnight. And you know, the story mode, it's fine. It's a glorified tutorial, really. I played a little bit of that, and I've gone into some other matches, and then gone back to that a little bit. But the most fun I've had with this game by far is online. But it's also got issues. We'll get to that in a little bit. The most fun I've definitely had with this game is online. But as you jump into the game, and I'm sure a lot of you have seen videos on this already, we talked about this Friday night on the podcast, because this game is very, very light on content. But this is something that Nintendo seems to just want to start doing with their games. If we go back to Mario Tennis Aces, there's a few other examples of this, but Mario Tennis Aces was probably the first one where it was really noticeable. The mechanics were pretty good. You know, the game itself was a good game. Not a lot of characters. Not a lot of stuff to do, really. The game was very, very light on content, and they started adding stuff as you go forward. And you know, now if you pick the game up, there's a lot of stuff there. It's a full game now. So yeah, now that game makes sense to buy. There are a few more games in that category that I want to bring up here, but there's another one that it kind of fits in this category, but kind of not, because it's kind of its own separate thing, and I'm talking about Animal Crossing. Now, obviously, I will say this, and I said this on the podcast when Jeeb and I discussed this. I feel that when Animal Crossing was released, the way it was released was a complete game. That was a lot of content, and you know, after you get to the end game, you can pretty much do whatever you want. You can build whatever you want. You can move things around. It's an endless game. But just like with these other games, Nintendo said that they're going to support this game going forward for, you know, at least the rest of this year. But the problem is, updates with this game have pretty much disappeared. There hasn't been a meaningful update for Animal Crossing in a long time. I mean, to be honest, I can't even tell you what the last real meaningful update for this game was. So this is kind of its own separate thing, but again, I feel like Nintendo's dropping the ball in this situation, or just under-delivering, or really just taking too long to deliver. Maybe not under-delivering, but they're dragging this out way too long. Now let's get to the other two games here. The other two games I want to talk about, obviously, we talked about Mario Tennis Aces, Mario Golf we're gonna get to, but the other one is Mario Party. With this one, this is a whole nother case. This is completely different, because not only did it come out as a full price $60 Nintendo game, it had no content. There was a lot of mini games, which is great, but how many boards were there? 4? Not really a lot of characters, and no online. Well, okay, it had online. I think you could play, what, 10 mini games? Out of all the mini games that they have in the game, I think they gave you like 10. I may be wrong about that, but it was a very small amount, and that's what you could play online. You couldn't even play a full game. The online was pretty much pointless. So 2.5 years later, finally, 2.5 years later, we get online for this game. And then wouldn't you know it, they give you the online for the game, and then what, 2 months later, they say, oh, don't even worry about that. We have a new Mario Party coming out now with 100 mini games, and it's got online, and you can actually use a real controller instead of having to use a Joy-Con. Don't get me wrong. I am happy that we're getting a new Mario Party. I want a new Mario Party game because I want a better one than what we have, and this does fix all those issues. But my biggest problem with this entire thing is, when I first saw this Mario Party, I thought it was DLC. I thought this was stuff that was going to be added to the original Mario Party, and then when I realized that it was a new game, it kind of had me scratching my head like, where are they at with this? What is going on? So that's also a completely different case, but still just very odd, especially for Nintendo. So then we come to Mario Golf, and this one is also a different case, but still it's not good. The story mode is not that great. It was also not that great in Mario Tennis Aces. So, I mean, whatever. Wish it was better, but it's not. I think the biggest problem here is the amount of characters that this game has in it, and the biggest problem, by far the biggest problem is the amount of courses. It has 6 courses. The last game, if I'm not mistaken, had 16 after the DLC, but 10 when the game launched. 10. So that's 4 extra than this one has now, and I gotta say, the ones that it has now are cool, but there's nothing really that's like, oh wow, this is a really good idea, or this is, you know, something that's really, really awesome. This does have some really cool game mode. The speed golf is fun online. The speed golf is very fun online, but guess what? Just like most Nintendo games online, it's laggy. Jeeb and I played with the guys from Switch Corner the other night, Friday night. We had a lot of trouble. I mean, there were certain points where we were getting about, I don't know, 3-4 frames a second, and that happened for pretty much the duration of our play session. So we'll get into all those issues in a minute, because I do want to talk about that too. But Nintendo has a very, very big problem here. Right now, in this environment in gaming, I think Nintendo is completely dropping the ball when it comes to this type of a delivery system, I guess you'd call it. Because while they do promise more of the game, more DLC to come, and it's free, I have to say, this is not DLC. What they're offering, what they're telling us that we're getting, isn't DLC. It's just the rest of the game. It was the same with Mario Tennis Aces. That wasn't DLC. That was just the rest of the $60 game. And I thought of a little bit of an analogy, and you guys, let me know what you think about this one in the comments, because I had one on the podcast that I use, and it's not quite right. It's not exactly what I wanted to say. So this is kind of like, do you remember when you were young and you would be at the dinner table? Maybe it was that one night of the week where you really got something that you really, really liked, and you wanted a whole bunch of it on your plate, you know, and you knew you were gonna eat all that food, but maybe your mom or your dad said, hey, hold on now, you eat this much, and if you eat that much, then we'll get you some more. But in your head, you're thinking, I don't need to do that. I don't need to do that. I want all of this right now. I want all of this right now. That's kind of what Nintendo's trying to do to us as adults, though. It's like, I don't need you to drip feed me this content. When I pay $60 for the game, I want all of the game right then. I don't need you to have it set up so it's spread out for me over a year, because guess what? I probably don't want to play this game for a year. To be 100% honest, I'll probably be done with Mario Golf within the next month, 2 months. The fact that this content is being held from us, I don't think makes people want to be involved in the game longer. I think there's another motive here, and I don't like it. I don't like the look that I'm getting, the vibe that I'm getting from Nintendo here, because on the surface it makes it look like their idea is just to keep the game going longer with free DLC. But again, it's not free DLC, it's just the rest of the game. What is actually going on here is they are making a full game, holding some of it back, so when they do release those bits and pieces as they go along, they can promote that and get more sales of the game that you and I are probably tired of, that we paid $60 for, and probably won't even see that content. Maybe we'll see it, maybe we'll go back to it to play it, but I gotta be honest, by the time a lot of this stuff comes out, I'm gonna be over this game. I really do not like the way that they're doing this. I don't like this structure of, here's some of it, and we'll give you the rest as you go, because it's not free DLC. They're splitting the game up just to keep interest, or just to make more sales later on, and it's a little dirty, especially to the people who are there on day one to pick it up for $60, who may be completely done with this game by the time you put out the first round of DLC. It's not fair to those people. I understand it's a business. Nintendo's not here to be my friend. I get that. But at the same time, when you are charging $60 for a game, we should get the full game. We should not have the second half of the game disguised as DLC. I think it's total crap. But with Mario Golf, we've got some other problems, because this game, while the core gameplay, the actual golf, I think is good, this game has some serious issues. One of them I already mentioned, which is the online. The online is almost unplayable at this point. I was talking to Jeeb about this earlier. He told me he's having problems with text just showing up on top of text when he's trying to play the game. And there are no options in this game. And some of the options are things that literally every game has, especially a game like a sports game. You don't even get the option to set the difficulty of the people you're playing against. There's no hard, there's no medium, there's no easy, there's no expert, there's no pro, there's no nothing, there's no choice. You just play them as they are. I find that very, very strange, especially in a sports game. In a competitive sports game where, one, the online sucks, so if you do want a real challenge, you want to turn up that difficulty, you just can't. Another thing I heard a lot of the guys were talking about when we streamed the other night, the music. And it's not all of the music, but the music in the main menu it's really, really repetitive and it's extremely loud. Again, no options to turn any of that down. There are literally no options for anything. Another thing I thought that was really strange about this game, it gave me some weird error code while we were playing online. And I told the guys to go ahead and just start without me. I'll, reset all my stuff and I'll hop in the game. So I did. I got back in, everything was fine. And then when they went to quit the game that they were in to get me back in, there wasn't even an option for them to quit out of the game to the main menu. So there's no way to actually stop an online game. Even if you're just playing with your friends from your friends list, you can't exit out of an online game. You have to literally hit the home button, close the entire game out, and restart it. It seems like this was rushed a little bit. Either that or just kind of half-baked. That's what we called the name of the podcast the other night. We were talking about half-baked Nintendo games. And with this one, not only is it half-baked content-wise, but even down to the menus and just the options, it's just not there. And it's kind of scary to see. I really hope that this isn't something we see going forward with Nintendo. I hope they do get a lot of backlash from this, and I hope they see going forward that this is not the way that we want our games. We want them up front. If you want to give us DLC, that's fine. Give us DLC. If we have to pay for it, also fine. If it's worth the money, we'll pay for it. But don't hold pieces of games back and then call them DLC. It's just a terrible look. I hate that they're doing it, and I think my biggest worry at this point, because this seems to be in sports games, if they try to do this with Mario Kart 9, that's gonna be a big problem. If they try to come out with a new Mario Kart game that's light on content and decide that they're just gonna give us the rest as we go along over a year, that is not gonna go over well. It's one thing with a tennis game, a golf game, but when you're talking about something like Mario Kart, I really honestly hope they don't try it with something like that. But guys, that's all I got for this one. I want to know what you guys think about this in the comments. Have you played Mario Golf? Do you agree with what I'm saying? I don't think this is DLC. I think they're just holding the game back. I want to know what you think about that, like I said, down below. Guys, that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching this video. Please leave a like. Make sure you are subscribed, and we'll see you in the next one.